Hey, baby, you are not going to believe this shit.
Oh, I'm sure I will, but what kind of trouble did you get into this time?
I didn't get in any trouble.
Mm-hmm.
No, you know how you always are complaining that the big carton of eggs in the refrigerator that we never finish is always in your way?
Absolutely, yeah.
Well, I just saw at the grocery store that they sell half dozen cartons of eggs.
Well, there you go. That's perfect.
Yeah. So I bought 2 packs.
You did? That's amazing.
Yeah.
I like that.
Uh-huh.
That's my genius.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
It's the Riveted with Chris and Gina.
Here we go again, Gina.
We're at the beach, and we've met some amazing people already.
Yeah, we are sitting almost in the same spot as we were a month ago at another Airstream rally that we were at. And
I'm
here,
kind of digging these Airstream rallies at the beach.
we love it. We are back down at Ocean Lakes, but this time we're here for the South Carolina Coastal Airstream Club last rally of the year. Mm-hmm. It is a little more brisk today than last month.
It's a little chilly, Chris.
Yeah, right now it's about 40 degrees and the wind's blowing a little bit, but the sun is out.
Yes, you can still walk on the beach with that kind of weather.
So anyway, we're having a good time. We're enjoying these rallies, obviously, and we're meeting new friends and discovering that there's lots and lots of cool people that we need to have on this podcast, and we're happy to have a couple with us today that we just met, but are absolutely passionate Airstreamers, and we can tell just from our warm-up conversations with them that they have had wonderful experiences. They're going to tell us all about it, but we're just glad to have them. Their names are Les and Cheryl Buford. They're from the wonderful state of South Carolina, down around the North Charleston area, and we are glad to have them. So welcome to the Riveted with Chris and
Welcome, you
Gina.
guys.
Thank you. It's good to be here.
Good to be here.
Yeah.
Yep. Are you warm? Are you comfortable?
We are.
Man, this couch is the most comfortable couch I have been on in an Airstream. And it's because, I won't even say why, but y'all did this, didn't you?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
That's awesome.
So maybe we should start calling this therapy here, honey. We got that comfy couch.
Sit on the couch. No. Well, the couch came before the podcast because we were just starting to break down the Airstream furniture several years ago. We were in ours. We've been in ours full time for 7 years, and we just wanted to do something a little different and make it more comfortable. We didn't realize that it was going to enhance the pleasure of our podcast guest. But
I knew it was going to enhance my pleasure.
So we're glad you enjoy it, and if we have to turn the heat on, we will. But right now, we're trying to keep it quiet and cool. So
if y'all hear, listener, if you hear our teeth chattering by the end of this,
it's not going to be that bad. Come on. So yes, we're glad you're with us, and fun to meet you yesterday, and we're excited that you wanted to participate in the podcast, which is one of the main reasons that we built this out like we did and are enjoying these rallies, is to meet people and have them come share their stories. So
because we love stories.
Yep.
We do. So one of the very first questions we like to ask, actually it is the very first question we like to ask, is what your entry point was into Airstreaming. Like, how did you get started?
You want me to take it?
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to take it because it was kind of like my baby. But when I met Les, his aunt and uncle had a Airstream they lived in full time. They were evangelists for Assembly of God. And they would hang out at the top of Georgia Airstream Park. And he heard about this park his whole life. He was in and out of their Airstreams. And then his other aunt and uncle also had one. So my dream was to live in a van. I didn't want to live in a trailer. I wanted to live in a van.
down by the river.
Down by the river.
Yeah, I like it.
Yeah. And we're, at that time, it was before we were retired. We're 70 now. So, that many years ago, I talked to Les about this van, how I wanted to do it. And I've been married to him for 46, 47 years, something like that. And I know that I had this dream of living full time in a van. And I knew that I couldn't nag him. I've been married too long. Nagging doesn't work with this man. And I couldn't pray. How do you pray for someone to have your dream? That's unethical. So I said, what is it? Because he's got more adventure in his little finger and I got in my whole body, But I've been a housewife stuck at home. We've got 5 kids and homeschooled for 10 years. And, I've been in that house and I'm ready to bust loose when he retires. I want to get out, And we lived in the middle of nowhere, 27 acres, cows in the yard. And so I started looking at these videos online. Podcasting, you guys, let me tell you something. You inspire people. You get them going. Because I was listening to podcasts, I was watching YouTube videos on people living full time, like Cheap RV Living. That one guy, what's his name?
Bob Wells.
Bob Wells.
Yeah.
Awesome. You can live in a car. You can even have a toilet in a car. There's all kind of things you can do. So I said, well, I'll play podcasts. I'll play YouTube videos on the TV at night. And he watched them every night. And this man, he's an adventure junkie, you know. So 2 months into watching these YouTube videos, he said, let's do it. Yeah. So we got the van.
You were manipulated.
I'm hearing manipulation going on in this. Yes.
Which
women have to do what women have to do, right?
But the van, y'all, we did it. We did it for 6 months, and we were too old and too big for that thing. You couldn't pass each other, you know? So we started looking for other things. And when we found Rosie, our Airstream, we fell in love with her, and we were home right away. And we've never I used to want a Class A. I walked in one. He said, all right, let's go look. We walked in one, and I could stand up in the windshield. I said, I can't do this. That's crazy.
That's awesome. It's interesting to hear what you just said, because there's this huge RV industry, lifestyle space, what people call it. And there's all different reasons and things that people get into RVing, right? And, YouTube videos and some of the experiences of other people obviously bring on
it's instigated a lot of it, yeah.
But the thing that I find interesting about what you just said is that as an Airstream owner now, you were attracted to that nomadic lifestyle immediately.
Yes.
And
well, it has been for a long time. Yeah. It wasn't the Airstream that got her into that or got them into it, but it was that aspiration of the van life, which ultimately led to Airstream.
And I would say that, Airstreamers are obviously built for adventure, but I feel like a good chunk of Airstreamers may not necessarily have that nomadic lifestyle desire as soon as they get into RVing.
Mm-hmm. And it's not
you
for
guys
everyone.
Did. Yeah, and that's exciting to hear.
Yes.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's cool. So, Les, is your entry point different, or do you just realize now that your entry point was what she did?
No, that's how it worked. I had no desire whatsoever to have an RV, and I always said I would never have something that sits out in the yard that you paid tens of thousands of dollars for. If it's going to sit there, I would sell it, and I don't want an Airstream. So, but watching the YouTube videos got me going. And yeah, I do love adventure. I'm an outdoors freak. I've hiked every trail in the upstate of South Carolina and part of North Carolina.
That's awesome.
So we lived in Walhalla, South Carolina at the time all this happened, and I would go hiking up all of those trails, and she'd go with me sometimes.
Yeah. Sometimes.
So when y'all got the Airstream, were your plans to go full time in it, or because you said you didn't want to leave it parked? So did you already have those plans, or were you just buying the Airstream? Yeah, and inspired once you got it.
So that it really was. The plan was, let's retire, let's sell the house. We had a big house, 27 acres, and a big house in Walhalla, and the plan was sell the thing, sell all of that, and get in the Airstream and just live for a while.
Very nice.
Which we did for 3 years.
3 years.
Yeah, what having the road trek and then realizing you needed something bigger, what caused you to get that brand over anything else?
I think my aunt and uncle having one and having seen it when I was a kid, I used to go in there. They had a twin bed Airstream, an old twin bed classic, I'm sure. And I've been in it. So that was a big draw. And then we went and looked at one. And like, for instance, in a van, you don't have room to get away from each other. You need sometimes, I wake up at 4 a.m.
Yeah.
A lot. And so I can come out here and drink coffee on one
You do
end.
what now? Wait, I'm processing that. I mean, we're going to bed at 4 a.m. sometimes, and you're waking up.
Well, it's like I was getting ready to ask, what time of day is that? I've never seen it
You don't
before.
see that time, right?
Yeah, but the nice thing about an Airstream is she can sleep, and she sleeps real good. Even little noises don't bother her when she's sleeping. So I'll go out here and make coffee on this end of the house.
Yeah.
That's what I like about an Airstream. And what is impossible to do in a Class B van.
Sure.
You wouldn't have room to get away and make a little bit of noise on one end like that.
So tell us what Airstream model you have.
We have a 2007 Classic, and ours has a desk, a big desk, and a big table on this end, the front end, and we really like that. You have a lot of open space like you guys have now here in this one.
I don't know that I've seen one with a big desk. I'd like to see your Airstream while we're here because I don't think I've seen one with the desk in the front.
They're fold down. This desk folds down and that one folds down, and then you got room to. She likes to do yoga and exercise.
That's perfect.
Yeah. If you're living full time and you're in a week's worth of rain, you got to have room to move around.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, and that's why we like this setup that we did is because we do massage, so we can put up the massage table and we can do massage in here, and then we like yoga and stretching. So we agree with you. We like the extra space.
We gained, our floor plan, the way it was built by Airstream, they designed it and sold it as being able to sleep 6 people. And, the dinette, you could sleep 2, the front couch 2, the bedroom 2. And obviously that's 4 too many people.
Well, unless it's our girls.
Yes. So anyway, we because of that dinette having width to sleep 2 adults, it stuck out in the floor so much. And it's great for, having a dinner with 4 people or sleeping 2 people or whatever. But when we got rid of that and changed to this custom furniture, we gained over a foot of width in the middle of the camper, which it's amazing what a foot will do for different, things in the middle of the floor.
But we've even had the girls in here with this setup because if we move this over, this will make a queen size bed. This couch will that we have. Yeah. But we've had the girls sleep individually, one on one side of the couch, one on the other side, and then put a blow up mattress in the floor for our granddaughter. But we've also had it where friends have come and stayed, especially like our friends from California. Instead of driving all the way across, sometimes they'll just fly in and they'll stay with us, and we still have a queen size bed. So that availability. So
works out
we
good.
Like that, and
but
not all of them do that.
No, but it is. It's nice being able to have some of that extra space, especially on bad weather days. And stuff like that.
Things happen. We were at the park near here. It starts with an H. What's that? State Park, Huntington Beach State Park.
Yes,
Huntington
we were
Beach.
there one time, and we had several friends that are in the area, and some came in the area for a little reunion, and they were going to stop by the park to see us, and we're hanging out around the fireplace, and one couple, real good friends of ours, they could not find us in the state park. They were going round and round, and by the time they got to us, they were exhausted, and the other friend said, well, follow us back to the house, and he said, I'm not going back. I can't get back in that car. So luckily, in an Airstream, you fold that couch down.
Yes.
You got a guest room right there.
Yep. Yeah, that's true.
Perfect.
That's true.
Yeah.
So did you buy yours brand new?
No, we bought it used.
Yeah.
We and that was an adventure. You have to drive 2 or 3 hours to go see an Airstream that's used that you want. So it was a lot of traveling around. We had to travel about 4 hours to get it. Yeah. And we bought it. We saw it. We looked it over good. It was real cold that day. Couldn't get the awning out. The wind was blowing too much. But we checked it out best we could and bought it that day from the couple.
Didn't know what the heck we were doing.
Yeah.
We went by, what's that place called that everybody goes to get your Camping World?
Camping World.
Yeah.
Went there and they put the hitch on wrong. Sorry, Camping World, you screwed up.
Yeah.
Put the hitch on wrong, and we're driving home, and we're just such little newbies. We're just happy-go-lucky and don't realize we don't even have brakes, and the hitch has been put on wrong.
Yeah.
So, the truck that we had was a 2007 Chevy, and it didn't have the ability to communicate to the trailer.
Yeah.
So we drove 4 hours from Charlotte to upstate of South Carolina, and with no brakes. I didn't know it, but I've got I'm the guy who put...
I'm glad you didn't find that out while you were driving.
But we have a big old diesel. We have a 2500. We have a GMC 2500 diesel, and luckily that's why that worked, because it had enough brakes for all of us. But
you're the guy that what?
Oh, I'm the guy that. So I found out about Airstream Forum.
Oh yes.
Yeah, which is kind of old school, but I got on Airstream Forum back then and said, should I get a diesel truck or a gas truck?
Oh, yeah.
Now, this argument went on for months.
Oh, yes.
Still to this day,
It
go see
probably
that.
still is going on
yes.
somewhere back there. Yeah.
I looked at it a couple of years later, and it had 8,000.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
Yeah.
I can imagine.
The moderator for that forum said, "Buckle up, boys. It's going to be a bumpy ride."
I can see that.
A gas or a diesel.
Absolutely.
And it turns out I could have gotten a gas, but
We
but
tow
I'm
with
kinda
the
happy.
gas.
I'm happy with the diesel.
I'm, we've been traveling 7 years now, and our truck is a 2007, and it's solid as a rock, but it's getting up there, and I feel like the next truck that I get will be a gas.
You know what's really cool about sitting here at the podcast right now is I'm watching other Airstreamers arrive and pulling in, and it's so cool to watch them go by the window as we're
They just
sitting
pulled
here.
in.
Well,
and,
I don't think that's cool at all. They're blocking my beach view.
Oh,
yeah.
parking in front
maybe
of
they're
me.
just cutting through.
Well, we knew it was going to happen. Those folks left yesterday, and we said, let's enjoy it while we can.
Yeah, that's
Yes,
true.
that's right.
Well, and I think that one that just went by was a gas Chevy pickup truck.
Now stop it. Stop it. I know where you're going with this. Stop it.
I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
So you told us in our warm-up chat, that's what we're calling it now.
We call it the warm-up.
We call it the warm-up. When we get to know you a little bit before we start recording it, we call it the warm-up. But you said that you guys did sell everything and travel full-time for several years. And so we're excited to hear that because, we do that as well. And so tell us a little bit about that.
Well, I got that little book by this Japanese author, this lady, that talks about downsizing. It's got a completely different name from this, but it's a very famous downsizing book. And so I spent 2 years downsizing. I went through exactly what she said to do, 3 different piles, one for trash, one for keep, one for giveaway. And it took 3 different times to do it till I got it down. And then what was left over, we have a friend with 9 kids, and we said, "You want this furniture?" And she said, "Yeah." So we gave the furniture away, and then between 2 families, and we because I'm not a foolish woman, we kept my kitchen stuff. I'm not buying another Vitamix, y'all. That thing's
Right.
$500.
Right.
So we got a storage, an 11 by something storage room, and stored all the kitchen stuff, the washer, dryer, that type stuff, and just forgot about it, don't worry about it. Mm-hmm. And since we're full time and Airstreams don't have all the storage that the big rigs have, but you don't need all that stuff. You think you do, but you don't. The longer you're full time, the more you get rid of stuff.
That's right. We still downsize, and we're very simple to begin with, but we'll come across something like, why exactly are we keeping this? Like, it's got to go.
About once a year, we'll kind of go through, and it's not like we make a point to purposely do it, but we just our mind is like, we don't need this. Let's cull this and make room.
But when we are out adventuring, we don't buy things. Like, we don't buy trinkets and memorabilia. Sometimes we'll get T-shirts. Because that's just fun. Yeah, because, we do a lot of picture taking. And after, how many years we've been doing this? 7, 8 years? Okay. Then everybody gets tired of seeing us in the same shirts. so we do buy T-shirts so that we'll have something different on. But
So anyway, we're getting off topic. So you sold everything, kept the stuff for storage, and then...
It was an adventure.
And how long ago was that?
Well, let me tell you this. It was when COVID came out. What was that, 2020?
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, what happened was we decided to hit the road. So we're going to take the first 2 weeks and stay at a local park close to us. Then we're coming on down to the state park down in Charleston. And then after that, we're headed to Florida because it was cold weather. And we stay at the park in South Carolina, a wonderful county park called South Cove County Park. Phenomenal. It's a peninsula. You don't have a sight without a water view. It's just gorgeous. Not full hookups, though, folks. So you need to, economize that. But so we stayed there 2 weeks, went down to Gibbons Ferry, and guess what? The whole world blew up.
Yeah.
And they kicked us out of the park. Well, I'm sorry. You got to leave, So we tried to go back to another park near there that we know the folks that run it, and they were in their 80s at the time, and they were rightfully afraid of opening the park. And I understand, So we said, what are we going to do? We're newbies. We're new at this. We don't know all the parks. We don't know all this stuff, you know. So we get in the car and we head back to that park where those dear elderly people were there. And I was going to beg them, please let us stay. We won't come near you.
Right.
And I had the blinker on when the phone rang, and our daughter Hannah called and said her in-laws, these awfully wonderful people, Mike and Kathy, they have a condo in Mount Pleasant, and they'll let you guys have for the month of April. You want it, you can have it. We said, well, thank you, Lord. That was answer to prayer. So we moved in that condo for a month, and then we went back to the park that finally opened. And our two youngest wanted to tie us to a bed. They wanted us they didn't want us near people. They said, Mom and Daddy, promise you'll live near the other kids, the older kids, you know. And we said, all right, we'll hang out. And about 2.5 weeks in, I looked at Les. I said, let's get the heck out of here. The kids don't need to know, you know. And we did. We took off, and we said, what are we going to do? We wanted to do North Carolina. But then Les's childhood with his aunt and uncles living at the top of Georgia, we said, well, let's go there for 1 week. He said, you decide. I said, all right, top of Georgia 1 week, and then we'll head for North Carolina. And we went up there, and y'all, the people, the place, the people were so nice. We stayed 5 months.
They are. They're wonderful there.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
And what a cheap way to live. You live up there, and we lived up there at that time. We paid by the month. We became members, so we paid the lower rate. And we paid about $3.45 a month. That's everything, including your internet. And my son-in-law, he's our financial planner. He kept calling saying, you guys need me to cut you a check? We're living on our Social Security. Yeah. We said, in 3 years, we never had one check cut. I mean, we were living fine. If you do it right, stay as long as you can. Like a month is a whole lot cheaper than a day, and week's cheaper than a day, you know. Plan it out, figure it out, and you can do this and really have no worries.
Yeah. And that location, that park, and a lot of different Airstream parks are that way, but this particular one you're talking about, top of Georgia, we love it too. We've been there a lot of times, and you're exactly right. It's great people, and when you get up there and kind of get settled in and stuff, you just don't want to leave.
Right.
Yeah, we like it up there, but if you go across the mountain there, you know, you have the lake on the other side, and us with our kayaks with us, we stayed over there a lot. We'd go kayaking, at least once a week or something, but I think the longest we stayed there was a month or 3 weeks, something like that.
Well,
we stayed a month in August a couple years ago.
It was a month, yeah.
Well, one time one of my friends there, it was her birthday. She's from Colombia, South America. And I said, come on, let's go hang out at the shelter, and we'll play some good music and get up, and we'll get our husbands to dance, and bring some snacks, celebrate your birthday. So we go to one of the shelters, and I got some good music going, and we're up there boogieing. And it's about 15 minutes later, there's 30 people up there, all dancing and boogieing. That place is awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's great. So it sounds like y'all like the Airstream Park. So have you been to many of them, or?
Yeah, we so that kind of inspired us, and we found out there were other Airstream parks. And most of the Airstream parks kind of struggled in the 80s or something, and they have changed to where they'll allow Class A and Airstreams or some combination like that. So we went and found some. We had already found Palmetto Cove above Greenville. Mm-hmm. In fact, we were going to move in there when I retired, because I was still working in Greenville. We found them. And then we just started hunting down Airstream parks. So down in Florida, there was, in Melbourne, there's
Land Yacht Harbor.
Yeah, we've been there.
Yeah, and it's just fun, and they're really nice. And then there's Travelers Rest, which is in Dade City, and that has these places have heated pools. Travelers Rest has a heated pool, a 9-hole golf course, a beautiful 9-hole golf course.
Wow. Inside the park has?
Yeah, you put $10 in a slot to go play golf.
Wow.
Any time of the day, just go.
Wow.
No reservations.
That. Yeah. That's cool.
And I love their golf course. But that was Travelers Rest in Dade City. And then, so while we were there, somebody mentioned Boyd's RV Park in Key West.
Yeah.
And I started dialing the number, and it was probably late December or it was probably November or December, and asked them what they had open, and they had January 1st, open. And it's real hard to get into our
Yes.
RV park. But, somebody had canceled that day. So we had a week in Key West. So that caused our plans to dive down to Florida. And I always tell people, if you're going to do Florida in the wintertime with your Airstream, dive down as fast as you can go. First time we went, we took it slow, and it's still cold.
Yeah.
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 You're in Jacksonville, it's cold. You're in the middle of the state, it's cold. It's still cold. You got to go dive down there.
Yeah, we kind of, we haven't wintered in South Florida since we've been Airstreamers, but, we've been down there in the winter. And you got to get south of Tampa, south of Palm Beach to, get really into the kind of tolerable wintertime temperatures for which that's known for.
Yeah, but anyone who's living north of Florida will say, you've got to be kidding me. Like, anywhere in Florida has got to be warmer than where they are.
Just assume crossing the state line, it's warmer.
That's right, yeah.
There's a little beach down there called Indian Rocks Beach.
Yes.
That our friend Galen told us about. Galen Jones told us about this. He's a Floridian. 35 years ago. And it wasn't touristy at all. And we said, well, we'll find it. And we did. And it's much more touristy now. But it's still, it doesn't look real. I took some pictures and put it on Facebook. I was on Facebook back then, and I had a little travel thing going. And people didn't believe that picture was real.
Yeah.
Really?
It doesn't
really
look
pretty.
real. It's not doctored.
Indian Rocks?
Yes,
Yeah.
Indian Rocks.
But now you know what the problem is now. You posted it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now you
So
put
now
it out there.
everyone's going to want to go there, and it's going to ruin it.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, it's...
That's what happens. There's all these little secret places out there. Not really a secret, but less touristy places. But once someone says, hey, you got to go, next thing you know, everyone's going, and then it just kind of messes up that primitive,
Yes.
old feel,
But the best part to me of Airstream are meeting people, because you meet people, especially full-timers, but even part-timers. Campers are campers, full-time, part-time. You meet the most interesting people. We've met people that are traveling across the world in their trailers, just so interesting.
Well, every brand has some loyalty to it, but Airstream, I think, is definitely more unique than others in the fact that if you meet somebody else that has an Airstream, y'all have a immediate connection, immediate commonality that makes you fast friends immediately just because of owning the same brand of trailer. So when you meet them just because of the Airstream, but then everybody's nice, everybody's got their own story, everybody's unique, and that's part of the fun of it is learning all that, and which is one of the main reasons why we started this podcast is Gina and I were experiencing that, and we met friends, some friends that didn't have Airstreams, but we were learning that everybody has a fun story and is getting, benefit from being an Airstreamer and traveling, and so we wanted to put that out there on the podcast.
So out of all the places that you've been, what's been your favorite?
I was going to ask that question.
Well, you're too slow, honey.
I guess Cypress Gardens in Ocala.
Oh,
because that's it actually was an amusement park, and Disney World put them out of business pretty much back. What would that probably be in the 60s or something?
Was Cypress Gardens the place that they did all this water skiing and all the pyramids, the people standing on each other's shoulders skiing and all that stuff?
Yeah.
Good memory.
Glass
To be so
bottom.
young, you got a good memory.
Yeah, glass bottom boat.
Right.
They still have that.
Yeah.
So it went out of business, and then it became a state park. And so now, 20 years later, the state park system has improved it even more. And so we go there, and I didn't know how great it was, but we go there and we rented a canoe, and Cheryl hadn't been in a canoe much, but got her out there in the water. There's an alligator. There's a 12-foot alligator over here.
Wow, that's as big as your canoe.
There's a manatee underneath the boat.
Wow.
Oh.
There's monkeys in the trees because somewhere they filmed maybe it was from filming Tarzan there. They filmed Tarzan there, some of it. And anyway, there's monkeys loose now. And then we watched a cormorant with a neck about an inch wide swallow a fish, a regular little small fish. And you go, how did it do that?
How did he get that down? And we have it on video. Its whole neck stretched about 4 inches wide, and this fish goes down.
So what's a cormorant?
It's a bird that eats fish.
Okay, that much I got.
There we go. But it's a shore bird.
Is it one of those white birds you see on the side of the road all the
Yes.
time? I wondered what they were called. Yeah.
So it was sitting on a log, gobbling down a little perch, or something.
How about that?
And but that was just a cool thing. Then we went on the glass bottom boat ride, and we also took a tour back in the back part of it, and all. It was just great.
And all of this is at Cypress.
Cypress Garden.
And you guys stayed there? You camped there also?
We have not stayed there.
Okay.
We want to, but
We stayed at a private park.
we were
that
across
time.
the street. We didn't know what we were doing. We were across the street at a very commercialized RV place where you're right next to another trailer, But that was a fun thing. And Key West was fabulous. Going to Key West, the Boys RV Park, that was very different, Bradenton, Florida was one of our favorites down there. And going to the beach near Bradenton or anywhere below Clearwater, it's just there's trees on the beach. There's shade. Mm-hmm. I've never seen that before. You could have a picnic under the tree and then go sit out under the sun.
That's cool.
To me,
we like the West Coast beaches of Florida for a lot of different reasons, but
there's one reason why you like it.
Well, I always tell people that I'm going to see a lot more sunsets than sunrises.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
So if that's the case,
And he has held true to that.
Yes.
so yeah, the western sunsets on the west coast of Florida is awesome.
Yeah.
But you're right. I mean, you get down to those areas of the beach, of the coast, and it is unlike any kind of beach.
It's just so pretty.
Oh, it's gorgeous.
I love the beach.
And
there.
also Rainbow Springs over in that area, and got in a kayak and crystal clear water, schools of fish swimming underneath the boat. Oh man,
That's so pretty.
Have you guys ventured out west at all?
No.
We've gone out there a lot on airplanes, but we haven't taken the Airstream out there. And the reason was when COVID first hit, everything was so confusing.
Yeah.
We had so many conflicting stories. We decided just to go up and down the East Coast and just stay, near the family for a while.
So out of everything that you've done with your Airstream, it sounds like everything has been positive, wonderful, and stuff, but there's got to be something, some kind of mishap or juicy detail, like the juicy details. There's got to be something.
Like oh no, did I do that?
Something.
Oh.
Yeah, go ahead.
I don't have an oh no, I did that. You just run into some crazy ass people sometimes. I don't have a lot of oh no's for the camping life. Camping life is awesome, but every now and again you run into somebody that's just oh my gosh, and they're the host.
Yeah.
I can't get away from this crazy woman.
Yeah,
that happens.
Oh yeah, we know we've run into that too.
But that is rare. Let me say that to the public. That is rare. I'm telling you, my sister who camped before I did. Well, we always tent camp. Let me tell you something. We tent camped hard. Les wouldn't let us have electricity, water, or anything. So we would have to haul firewood way out in the woods with all the kids and live on the ground. That's my man, y'all. So I can't complain. I'm used to.
There's always people that. Not always. We've talked to several people that when we ask them like, what got you started, this, and that, and the other, they always say, we used to sleep on the ground.
That's it.
Yeah,
and we don't want to do that. We didn't want to do that anymore.
Well, when I hit my 50s, I told him, I said, I want electricity, honey.
Yeah.
And he started letting us go to real rustic campgrounds. They had nothing but electricity and maybe water. And I would bring up a blow-up mattress. I'm talking queen size. I'd bring a lamp from the house. I'd bring a table from the house, and I'd have a little toilet rigged.
Yeah.
And he said, this ain't camping. I said, I'm in my 50s.
Yep.
Gotta
do it.
Yeah.
So when we talked yesterday, I think, Les, you mentioned you're thinking of switching models and getting something else.
Yeah, we think maybe a twin bed or something would be better. Going
down in size a little bit, or staying with similar size.
I don't know. I think we might stay with the same size. We might go a little bit smaller, like a 25-foot. We have a 28-foot now.
Yeah.
But the twin bed idea just seemed like it had more room to store things, you know. But
and also, when you're asking the question earlier about anything yucky, I'm going to say that. The sideways bed is yucky, y'all. I'm going to go on and say it. I did that sideways bed. I was on the far side where I'd have to crawl out, and Les could get out on the other side. I did it for 1 year, and I complained every single day about that. And at January of the next year, I said, you got to take it for the next year. Well, he's had it ever since, and he's never complained. I tell you, I'm ashamed of myself.
Well, is it because he's crawling over you in the morning?
Yeah, no, he doesn't complain. He sneaks out, gently sneaks out, doesn't wake me up. He's awesome.
Yeah. I thought it'd be because he's crawling over top of
that should make up for the manipulation.
Yeah.
I guess.
Talking about bad things makes me think about hitching and unhitching in spots. You know, if you go to the lake, one time we went to the lake and we got a spot that was downhill and then it levels out a little bit and then you got water. Well, how do you get level there? You know, you can't lift the tongue high enough. So that was interesting. You have to start all over, put a bunch of stuff under your wheels and get it up high enough to level. That here, a few months ago, we were here and the trailer was on a hill headed for the truck, kind of, just a little hill. And somehow I was tired and I didn't do something. And when I let it off, when I raised the
off the ball,
jack off the ball, it went bam and moved about a foot.
Yeah.
Oh no, it was worse than that. My truck, I was so tired that day. The truck was not in gear. The truck started headed for the camper in front of us.
Oh no!
That's after 8 years of doing this.
Yes.
You know? But stuff happens.
Hey, stuff happens.
It does.
Yeah.
We there's been a couple times where we've had to be really high in the front, like we mooch docked in front of some friend's house, on the street in front of their house, and
in Issaquah, Washington.
Yeah, in Washington,
and it was a steep hill.
I
don't even know how we got in the neighborhood.
And not only that, but it was a neighborhood that was not supposed to have campers or trailers or anything like that. It was a fairly nice neighborhood, and so we unhitched that thing, and we had. I think we were level. I feel like we were level or close to it, but it looked like we were the Clampetts coming in there with blocks, anything I could find that would get that front up, you know. And
we were there 2 nights, and we really thought, because it was an HOA neighborhood, the streets were narrow, but people could park on the street, which made it even worse.
Yeah.
And I don't know, it's just his driving, but he did a fabulous job of getting this parked there, and we were across the street from her house, so we were parked in front of a neighbor's house. We really thought we would get like fussed at, like somebody would come out and say something, but again, it's an Airstream.
Yeah,
and everybody's like, "Oh my gosh, can we see it? This is beautiful."
Yeah.
So instead of fussing at us for being there, they were happy because they wanted to see the Airstream. I think we showed the Airstream more that weekend than we had ever shown it.
It was like moths to a flame.
Yes.
I mean, people. Yeah.
But thank goodness, because then no one, bitched about us being there, which was a good thing.
Yeah, for sure.
But that was interesting, and that's the only time we've ever had to level like that. So whenever you're explaining that to us, we understand that stress that you feel, making sure that you get that level. And how do you do it? Because, again, it's an Airstream. You don't have as much storage space. So you don't carry as many blocks and the tools that you might need for all that. Yeah.
So I want to switch gears real quick because I just saw another rig go by, and it made me think, we are sitting here at this South Carolina Coastal Rally. Obviously you guys are a member of the club, and tell us a little bit about, your Airstream club experience, how long you've been a member, and kind of, any rallies, experiences, or any kind of stuff like that.
Yeah. So, if anyone is going to do this, you should join a club. If you're Airstream or Class A or whatever, you should join the club, because when we rolled into the first meeting of this club 8 years ago, they were all over our trailer. They went over and looked at the hitch, which we told you that it was set up wrong. They they said, "Oh, your hitch is set up wrong." So they took it all apart and put it back together. Right.
Yeah.
How wonderful. See, isn't that great?
Just other members of the club coming to help. Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah. And that was Henry Knight and some of his buddies, right?
Yes.
Here. Yep. But they fixed that for us. There's so much knowledge among Airstreamers, especially these old timers who've been doing it forever. Mm-hmm. And so joining the club is very important. And that we've enjoyed rallying with the club, and you can join You can join at large, nationwide, or you can join a local club, or both, or any combination of. We've been affiliates with one club and then members with another. You can do that. Mm-hmm. All of that is good. Yeah. So
that's technically ours set up with the South Carolina Coastal, is we're affiliates of this club, and have been for years, mainly because of some cool events that they've done and the friendship we have with Henry and stuff. But we're members of Carolina's Airstream Club and then affiliates of the Coastal.
Right.
Yeah.
So did you join the club right away?
Yeah, as soon as I got an Airstream, then I started trying to find out how to fix all this stuff. For crying out loud, I had brakes that didn't work, because of my truck. But so somehow I found that you could join an Airstream club, and we just joined right away.
Yeah,
that's good.
Yeah.
And as a matter of fact, we didn't meet these people for months and months. Just Les would call Henry.
I was just calling Henry every day.
Yeah.
Yeah, but Henry really is great.
Oh, that was something I was going to say. Cheryl came up with the idea of watching a lot of YouTube videos. So because of that, because we watched Less Junk, More Journey with their Airstream.
Right, yep.
He told me that you need to buy this yellow thing that you can back your tire up onto and change a tire.
Yeah.
It's a little ramp, And so I knew that, and I went and bought one of those. And so by watching a lot of YouTube videos, we avoided a lot of the disasters that you can have, Yeah. So we were ready for – I've had to change the tire on the interstate with trucks going by and the trailer at an angle kind of leaning towards me.
That's never any fun.
But but we were ready because we did a lot of research before we jumped in.
The manufacturer – Airstream has an event, and I'm assuming now that I say that, they just had it this year too, but they have an event called Illumapalooza.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, it's put on by another group of people, but it's sanctioned by Airstream.
By Airstream, yeah. And so, but it's at the manufacturing facility.
It is. They hold it at Jackson Center. Yeah.
And I think it's happened pretty much every year except for during the pandemic. And we went up there, I think in 2018 was our first time up there to it. And we learned a lot up there. They had Zip D was up there and taught you about your owning, and which we love the manual owning. We wouldn't have an electric, but that's us. And then we learned how to change a tire, and they let people practice and stuff there. And so Chris, we were in Livingston, Texas in 19, and we get our mail there.
Right.
And so we stopped, got our mail, and we come out to the car and we heard and we're like, no, can't be. And it was one of our Airstream tires. And I say, okay.
Fortunately, we were parked.
Yeah, we were just parked there. And so Chris is like, well, I guess we're going to change a tire. And I'm like, okay. And I get out my camera. And he's like, what are you doing? And I'm like, I'm going to video it. And he's like, no. I said, we're going to change a tire. I said, no, I get it. You're going to change it, and I'm going to video you change. And he did it in like 13 or 14 minutes. I can't remember.
Wow,
but
it's
because I didn't turn the video off the whole time. I'll just let it run. And I was like, I am so impressed. And so then I went around telling everybody, we changed the tire on that Airstream. And he's like, I don't think you can take credit for that. And I said, I've got it documented. That's a good thing. Yeah.
You know how like you think, well, changing a tire is like dirty, sweaty, like hard work and all that kind of stuff. And it can be, obviously. But I had bought all new
all
tools.
the right tools.
All the right tools.
Gotta have the tools. Yeah.
Everything was exactly what I needed to change the tire. I had everything. And so it was a pretty sunny day. I had brand new gloves. I had brand new tools. It was the the most pure experience of changing a tire, I think. And you know, anybody that's seen that video, they're like, man, that is very impressive.
It,
you know?
it is on our YouTube channel.
But it was like, you know, it just worked out perfect. You know, but I hear where you're coming from on that is like,
yeah. And the thing it made me think of, we went to the international rally, which Airstream has the international rally, you know. And I think the last one they had over 1,000 rigs there.
Tons, yeah.
Did y'all go?
No.
Okay. We went to the one that was near Nashville in Lebanon, Missouri. Lebanon, Tennessee.
Yeah.
And but anyway, I learned that's where you learn a lot. Mm-hmm. You go to the international rally or some nationwide rally like that, or Palooza. We haven't been to that, but that's where you learn things, and it's good knowledge.
Yeah, and don't be afraid to ask, right? Like, if you see somebody that's got something that you don't know quite what it is or how it works, ask them, you know?
Right.
Because I haven't met anyone who would not, you know, just come right out and say, oh, yeah, come look, and let's do this, and this is how I got it, and this is why, and this is what it does. Yeah.
And at the end of the day, too, that is one of the characteristics that the Airstream Club asks that you have if you join the club. You know, they want you to be a good RVer, safe RVer, and pass that knowledge along to people that need it, help others, that kind of stuff. You know, be a
yes, but people should do that generally.
Oh, they absolutely should. Yeah, but that it is as long as this brand has been around, you know, the trailer has changed over the years. There's different components, different floor plans, that kind of stuff. But at the end of the day, there's a lot of similarities about every single Airstream on the road. And a lot of that knowledge just gets carried from generation to generation. And that I think is one of the coolest things about this brand.
Well, I'll tell you one thing. Before we got the Airstream, we were at Folly Beach, just going to the beach. And we're leaving the island, and we saw a box trailer. I don't know how this happened, y'all, but it was flat. The whole rig was about 4 feet off the ground.
Horrible wreck.
Horrible wreck. It just closed in, and I looked at that, and I said, I don't want a box trailer. I want an Airstream.
Yeah.
And we talked to a highway patrolman one time we were pulled over, and he was talking to us about the wrecks, the trailer wrecks and the Airstream wrecks that he's seen over the years. He said, with other rigs, you'll have miles of clothes and trash because it falls apart.
Yeah, debris.
And he said the Airstreams, they might be bumped up and dented up and where they've rolled, but there's nothing.
Yeah. They
There's no debris.
Stay intact.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, that's true. That's very true.
And we haven't had a single leak.
Not a leak.
8 years.
Yeah.
2007, and we haven't had
that's awesome.
Not one.
That's perfect.
Yeah, that's
and
really
we have
good.
a doorbell on Rosie. Rosie was the 75th anniversary of Airstream.
Okay.
It was 2007. And I love that doorbell, y'all, because it's just different, you know, to have a doorbell in your trailer. But we're staying at one park, and I love kids. I'm a mom and a grandma, you know, I love kids. And there were these 3 or 4 little full-time kids that were staying, and we're at that park for a couple of months. And y'all, they ring that doorbell constantly. So I took the battery out and never have to put it back.
Yeah, that's funny. That's funny. Yeah. You guys got any plans set or anything exciting for next spring, next summer travel season or anything?
Well, we've got camp out with our family. All our kids, we're all going up to Devil's Fork State Park in the mountains.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And all 5 kids are coming with their tents, and we're going to hang out for a week. And, of course, our club has lots of rallies this year.
They sure do.
That are going to be fun.
Yeah. Cool. That's awesome.
When we
camp with our grandkids and our family, they're in tents, so we're the ones who have coffee ready in the morning.
Yeah,
you know?
That's good.
Because we got
they're young; they can do the tents.
Right.
That's right.
Yes.
Hey, they grew up doing tents.
Yeah. No, that's good.
Age has its privilege.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Yeah.
What about you guys?
Minimize.
Do you guys have a house somewhere, or
we have nothing?
You have nothing.
We have our home right here.
Yeah. We kept a couple important things, you know, that we didn't want to get rid of and put them in a climate control storage, but everything that we need for full-time living is in this rig or in our truck, and we've got it, you know, kind of perfected, I guess, on how we store everything. Everything has a place, and everything is in its place at all times.
Well, I have to say this. I've been in a lot of rigs, and this is a neat one.
Yeah, thank you.
I don't know whether you cleaned all morning or not,
No.
Gina, but
No,
okay.
This is how it looks all the time. And
it's nice.
and that goes to what Chris just said. everything we have has a place.
Yeah.
So we don't leave it sitting out. If we eat, we do the dishes, we put the dishes away. You know, we have a trinket or like a wine bottle or whatever. It has a place it has to sit. We don't make it up as we go along. It always has a place. And so, you know, we just, as long as we continue to do that, then it always looks straight and neat and we have more space. But that's part of the reason, is because we don't want to feel confined or suffocated. We don't have slides, you know, most Airstreams don't. There's a few that do. Yeah. But we don't have all that extra width of space. So, you know, as long as you keep things up, then you don't feel suffocated or you don't feel like it's coming in on you.
Well, and when you're in it full time, you want your living space, even though it's small, to be comfortable and you know, like homey's the word I was getting ready to say, but that's not really the right word. You didn't want to have to move 3 things to sit down on the couch each time you get up from it, you know, and stuff like that. And so we try to
we have a few pillows on our bed that our daughter and granddaughter gave us, and we love them, but we have to move them every night to go to bed. And it's like, why do we keep doing this? Let's put them on the couch. But I don't want them on the couch. I want them on my bed. So,
but even the people that live in homes, they've got all the throw pillows on the bed. I mean, a lot of times they're moving 15 pillows off the bed to go to
I can't
sleep.
do it.
Yeah.
But full-time, and I don't think, like, we're not full-timing right now, but full-time and never gets out of your blood. It's always in your brain. Yes. Like you are changed. Like I can wear my jeans for 5 days, thank you. And my shirt until I smell it. You know, I'm going to wear that shirt.
I think you're right about that, is that it is that lifestyle, nomadic lifestyle, full-timing, whether you're in an Airstream or not, but it does get in you as a way of life.
Yeah, a simple way of life.
Simple way of life, yeah. And it's wonderful. And we lived kind of minimally before we became full-time RVers. We had a nice townhouse, but it was very minimally, decorated, and we like nice things, but not a lot of things. And so we had that mindset. And then when we shifted into the Airstream, that simple way of life is very enjoyable.
And you appreciate so many things more than you ever have before. Yeah. Like a bathtub. You know, there is nothing like a hot bath.
Well, see, what we do is go to a spa and get in the hot tub or a spa or something. Yeah.
Well, we've been chatting it up almost an hour, so we thank you so very, very much for your time today.
It's been great.
And hope you had fun. And it's always interesting to meet new people and hear their stories. And we just are glad that you participated with us today. So thank you.
Well, it was fun.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
Good to meet you.
Yeah, it's wonderful.
Yeah, and we will see you at the rally, obviously, and hopefully see you down the road.
Yeah, I think she's hosting bingo this afternoon.
Bingo.
Yeah, Grandma
we love bingo.
Board.
Everybody plays bingo. That's awesome. Yeah.
Yes.
So great. Well, thank you very much, and we will.
Thanks for taking the time, you guys.
Oh yeah, we enjoyed it so much. You guys are awesome.
Thanks.
Thanks, and we'll see you guys down the road.
All right.
Yes.
Bye.
Bye.
Well, listener, we hope you enjoyed this lively discussion today. It was a good one.
It really was. And I think, Chris, this was actually the first time we've shared or talked about the different Airstream parks, isn't it?
You are right. I think so.
Say that again. You are right. I like that.
You're right. You're right. Yeah. So we hope you enjoyed it. Hope you enjoy the podcast, and feel free to subscribe and follow the podcast where you choose to listen, and you'll be notified of future episodes. And we thank you very much for being a part of it.
Hey, and don't forget, we want to hear your story. Get in touch with us.
Absolutely. Thanks, everybody. We'll see you now on the next one.
See you down the road, everyone.